morning. In today's checklist, we're honing in on hormones. Hormone health has been getting a lot of attention on social media these days, and so we thought we would bring in some of our experts to answer some of your questions about it. So, NBC News medical reporter Dr. Akshay Syal and NBC News medical contributor Dr. Natalie Azar, both here on a Friday morning to break it down. Good morning to both of you. Dr. Syal, we'll start with you. I mean, I'll be honest with you. You hear a lot about women going through hormone changes. The same thing does happen to men.
It can, Craig. And I'll start. Have you heard of the word menopause?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear that sort of collective eye roll over there. But it does actually happen to men. It can happen to men. And, as opposed to women's hormones, which tend to fall off a cliff as you hit menopause, men do see about a 1% decrease in testosterone about after the ages of 30 to 40. And, what does that look like?
Every year, 1% decrease.
1% decrease every year. And so, it can have symptoms like fatigue, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe you're tired. You can't make it through the day by yourself. You're irritable. You're getting mood changes. People say you're just not fun to be around with anymore. You can have loss of muscle or strength, despite going to the gym every day. You can't lift as much as you want to. Lower sex drive. And guys, even weight gain, particularly around the belly. Now, the important thing to note, these symptoms, as you can probably tell, can be caused by a lot of things, right?
Sure.
I have a friend who's a diehard New York Giants fan, and he has half of these every Sunday, right, this season. So if you have some of these symptoms, it doesn't necessarily mean you have low testosterone, but it is something we can check for quite easily.
Is there a normal hormone level?
There is. It's a big range, and there's an old adage in medicine, Craig, you don't treat the number, you treat the patient, right? Okay. So just because that number is low doesn't necessarily mean you mean treatment.
So is there actual therapy that men can take to change this? There
is, Al, and it comes in a few different forms. Testosterone therapy is most commonly given in a gel. You can actually rub on your shoulders or upper arm. There's a injection you can have. There's pellets you can actually put in the body that last for months. But guys, the big thing here, you want to be cautious with side effects. It can cause the sort of thickening of the blood. It can make you more likely to have a blood clot. It can, if you have a history of prostate cancer, breast cancer, stay away from it. And it really needs to be done under close medical supervision. It's not something you want to, Amazon Prime to your house. You want a doctor to really carefully monitor that treatment.
All right. Dr. Syal, thank you. Ladies?
I mean, I'll be honest, I've never heard of menopause, but that 1% a year is probably a little... must stink. We're sorry. That was great. No, I'm just kidding. Let's talk about hormones in women. I mean, yes. and Craig is right. We focus a lot on men, but obviously I think it's because we focus a lot on women, right? Because it's such an issue, right?
Right, of course. And so there are so many different hormonal conditions that can affect both men and women. But for women, I think very commonly we hear something called PCOS. Up to 15% of women can have PCOS, which can affect their fertility and all of these things. The pregnancy and postpartum period, lots of fluctuations in estrogen and progesterone. Of course, perimenopause and menopause, the big ticket item these days. Average age of menopause for U.S. women is around 52. Perimenopause can start easily in your 40s. Symptoms like mood changes, sleep disturbances, and the most disturbing symptoms, something called vasomotor. Those are the night sweats and hot flashes. Mm-hmm. Super, super bothersome.
But there are some treatments.
There are. So we're talking about hormone replacement therapy for women in particular. Hormone replacement therapy can be either estrogen plus progesterone or estrogen only. It comes in multiple forms: transdermal patches, pills, local therapy for vaginal dryness. Just a quick comment that transdermal or through the skin treatment tends to be associated with less side effects than pills. Non-hormonal treatments, we covered this on the show a couple of weeks ago. There are 2 non-hormonal treatments approved now for those vasomotor symptoms that target different receptors in the brain responsible for temperature regulation. Very good options for people who cannot take hormone replacement. Risk and side effects, again, a big topic these days. In a bit of a nutshell, hormone replacement therapy is considered reasonably safe for women if it's started within 10 years of their menopause under the age of 60. However, there are some groups for which hormone replacement therapy is not appropriate. People who have a history of heart attack or stroke, people who have hormone sensitive cancers, breast, uterine, endometrial cancers, people with a history of blood clots, significant liver disease, as well as unexplained vaginal bleeding. So again, not for everybody, but super important. And now for the pièce, the everything that everyone's talking about these days is testosterone therapy for women. So testosterone for women, what can it do? Yes, of course, it can improve mood, energy, sex drive. It is a significantly lower dose, about 10% the dose that men get. Side effects can include acne, excess hair growth. We're talking not where you want it, but like on your face and your legs, for example. example, voice deepening, and some of these side effects are irreversible.
Oh, gosh.
Very important, not FDA approved. Here's what I will say. I work with a GYN who says, I don't prescribe it, it's not FDA approved. There are other female hormone specialists, menopause specialists in this country who absolutely can and do prescribe it. But what I would caution women is if you're interested in doing this, similar to what Dr. Syal said, please do it under the guidance of someone who specializes in this so you can be monitored. We don't have long-term data on safety. That doesn't mean it isn't, right? An absence of evidence isn't, that thing. However, it's something that I would pursue cautiously, but with a specialist, because absolutely it can help a lot of women with some of these symptoms.
Wow, a lot of information to take in. Thank you so much, Dr. Azar, Dr. Syal. Thank you, too.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.